this meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission to order. Paige, could you offer a roll call?
David Larson, John Meyer,
Here.
Pete Fuller,
Here.
Stephanie Garner,
Here.
David Huser,
Here.
Kate Payne,
Here.
Kathy Olson.
Here.
Next would be item C1, which is the approval of the agenda as printed. Would someone make a motion?
Move approval. Second.
Moved and seconded that we approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item D1 is approval of minutes for the commission meeting on September 4th and the commission meeting on October 2nd. I do have one correction that I found on the September 4th meeting minutes. If you page to page 9 of 10, it says it was moved by Fuller, seconded by Olson, that the commission recommend tabling, and then it says motion did not pass, and I believe that that 7-0 vote would indicate that it did pass.
The motion to table passed.
Yes.
Yes.
I would also point out on the October 2nd minutes, on page 11, Oregon is misspelled. It's spelled like oregano without the O.
Okay. So with those minor editorial, or minor edits, would someone like to make a motion to approve the minutes? Or accept the minutes, I guess would be the term.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes with the two corrections.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? They're approved. Okay. Next item would be E1, regular business. Amend the Waverly City Code, Chapter 102, floodplain management. Would you like to introduce that page?
Yeah, so this came about, Jason Connell, the Iowa DNR, came for our community site visit last week, and he brought forth these code changes just to remain in compliance with the NFIP.
Well, there's a lot of changes, and I did read it all, and I don't know if there's anything that anyone else caught that were unacceptable or they have questions about, so I guess I would open it to any questions.
There were a couple sections in there where it seemed like it had to do with use, allowable uses. Is that a significant change in the?
Use was changed to development for word-wise, and then there was those conditional uses that they just removed. Because it was saying something with the Board of Adjustment, and he goes, no, variances just go through Board of Adjustment and them concurrently, so that was just removing the items that were listed out. It's not a major change to how we've been operating.
I did find on page 15, it's just a number lettering change, 102.7.01, and then we have numbers 1, 2, 3 under that, and number 3 has subsections that are 1 and 2, and I think those should be A and B. You don't have a numbered section under a numbered section.
That's how the whole section is.
Yeah, I think the sections are numbered, there are points within there, and then if it's within the number, then it's lettered.
Yeah. So, section 3 would be reviewed by the Iowa Department is not required for proposed construction where A, the bridge or culvert, well, B, the bridge or culvert, again.
Oh, those numbers, oh, I see, within part 3.
In part
Yeah.
3.
So 102.7.01, part 3 This,
Oh.
those subthings should be.
Those should be A's and B, A
Yes.
and a B.
Okay,
Gotcha.
I wasn't down that far. And then there should be-
I thought perhaps you were just doing that to make sure we read it.
Again, some of this is the formatting of how it's into our overarching code, but no, I'll get that changed to A and B.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from members? If not, I would accept a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? If not, would all those in favor say aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Note that the motion is unanimous. Okay, the next is item E2, plat of survey on 1400, at 1400 Bremer Road. Agenda, would you, or Paige, would you care to introduce that for us?
Yeah, the applicants have proposed to split 1400 Bremer Road into 3 separate parcels for the potential sale for 3 future single-family homes. As you'll see in the agenda memo, a couple of things that staff has looked at is your water sewer services. Water, they all 3 will connect to city water. Sewer is not within 500 feet, so they would not be required to connect to sewer. The perk test did not pass, so they have to, instead of a traditional septic system, they would have to be an alternative system. And I emailed out some of those that Lindsay had sent earlier about possible options. By not connecting to city sewer, parcels are supposed to be 1 acre as well as 100 feet wide. It meets the 100 feet wide. These lots are just shy of 1 acre. So if recommended approval, would be asking for a variance for that. The second item is there is that existing accessory structure, 1,500 square feet, steel utility building, which would be included on that parcel S. That parcel is proposed to be 0.3 acres, and according to Waverly's accessory structure code, lots of that size are allowed up to 1,000 square feet of detached accessory structures. So since it's proposed under 1 acre, that would be a variance for that as well, if this gets recommended approval. And then as you'll see, it does have that 60-foot access easement.
That would be a continuation of the existing road that's there, basically, right?
Correct. Yep.
Paige, did you bring the minutes from the meeting when that was approved back about 5 years ago?
Really, there wasn't much in those
It didn't
minutes.
state several things that we talked about at that time.
They're very summarized.
Had this been approved and then,
In 2021, this parcel was split off from the field, I believe. July 2021, it was split off for a single-family development.
for all, so this, in essence, close to 3 acre parcel was just split off as one? Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
What is the use of that auxiliary structure?
Currently.
Mhm.
I don't know, the owners are here if you want to ask them.
I mean, is it going to remain there with when the variance is there? I mean, who would, if it's a structure that's big enough, large enough that it meets a variance, but yet you're going to fit in a single dwelling structure, how does that fit?
Well, in essence, I believe the applicant is asking for a variance in the side yard, or variance in the building size, if that's correct.
Yeah, I understand
So
that.
does
I
that have to
understand
go to Board of Adjustment?
Not if we're sending it here and then to council.
Okay,
So with the plat of survey, just like on any
Okay.
plats, if you,
Okay.
you can request a variance through that process.
well, anyway, does anybody have any thoughts or comments?
Well, that's my question. I mean, this is designed for a single-family dwelling, with an accessory structure that exceeds what it's supposed to be, and what's the potential plan there for how the residence fits in there?
Well, it's going to be a tight fit, I guess. I guess my comments regarding it, I assume that, I guess I'd like to hear it from the owner, that they plan on doing the alternative systems that we're talking about. I am familiar with them, and very frankly, what you're doing is very simply, you're building a secondary wastewater treatment plant on site to handle the effluent from the septic tank. There will be a discharge from these, and that's different than the traditional septic tank infiltration bed that we're used to seeing. Those, you rely on the percolation of the soil, and there is no discharge. So, this thing falls generally from the road back. So along that road, somewhere, there's going to be a discharge pipe. When I look at the utility map that's provided, there's apparently a storm sewer that runs along the opposite side of the road. And I suppose an alternative would be to hook those discharges into that, but that means that you're going to have the effluent discharge from those alternative systems coming out and running across the farm field continuously. Whereas now it's an intermittent thing that happens with rainfall. So I have concerns with that. Those secondary treatment systems that are treating the effluent, they are mechanical. They require maintenance. It's not something that you ignore. You've got to look at it. Well, I was familiar with a project where we built an Orenco system in a subdivision when my design engineering days. And, they had to sign a maintenance agreement with the manufacturer, and they came out monthly, sampled the effluent, and made sure the thing was working right. They just did. And the difficulty is that the community then, when the owner decided he didn't want to pay for that maintenance contract anymore, there had to be an enforcement mechanism in place to make sure that that got done. Who's going to be the enforcement mechanism here? County Health Department? Mm-hmm. Is she willing to do that?
Would that then be a shared cost among the three owners of the?
Well, each owner,
They will each have their own
and that's another
system.
thing.
Okay.
Each one can have their own, or you could build an oversized one for all three. You can do that.
Really?
But that makes it, that means it becomes kind of an HOA situation where you're sharing cost. You can do that. My fear is that we're creating another Heinz edition. If you're
Or
familiar-
Murphy,
What's that?
or Murphy.
Yes, exactly. Heinz or Murphy edition.
Well,
Heinz,
yeah.
the Heinz edition is north on the Horton Road, kind of across from the new school. And right now, the city's spending a lot of bucks evaluating. Those are all built with wells and septic tanks. They got water, now they still have their septic tanks. And are evaluating and spending pretty good bucks, trying to put together a plan to serve them with water and sewer improved. I just wonder, that's the difference between the house density, so.
So what you're describing, if they all go together, that's not a lagoon?
No,
kind of
no,
setup?
it's the same kind of a system that she
Just
referred it
larger,
to, you
yeah.
just build it 3 times
They
as
just-
big.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
If it was condensed to, or enlarged to 2 lots, would there be a perk test that would work then?
Well, I talked to our Public Works Director, and my understanding is the PERS test failed because they hit bedrock.
It limestone 3 feet down.
Right. Which means it will never.
There's
Yes.
But
there's
that
a
was
part of
only-
it that will,
that was in
that
that
where the
spot.
perk works,
It
but,
wasn't-
I'm sorry, one at a time?
Sorry.
there's a part of it that the perks worked, I know, but I don't know which part or how that would,
Well, if the limestone's only 3 feet down,
I don't know, I mean, I
Well-
was told that
Yeah.
they worked on part of it, but,
Yeah, I was told that they did one perk test, and that was a result of that spot. That's not to say that if you move down, that it would be the same result.
Yeah.
So it would be, every system that you want to put in is going to have to do a perk.
right,
Do all the adjacent properties nearby have septic systems
yes.
and grandfathered in ones with historic types of standard?
I,
well, it's just, it's like, well, when you and I
Yeah,
lived
yeah.
up in Murphy, you know, we were having
Standard,
issues.
yeah.
And then the city came through, and then there's a couple of them that didn't want to hook up, but they still had to, whenever they did, they had to pay the fee, but
Where is the nearest sanitary line?
about 1,300 feet west and
Copper
uphill.
Terrace.
West and
Uphill.
uphill,
And
nice.
uphill across
Or
private
down to
property.
Copper Terrace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a concern.
Yes, if you would like to speak to the issue, please come to the microphone and identify yourself.
I'm Dean Schilling, and we been working with Paige trying to see about this
Could you
splitting
speak
into
up?
3 lots. And the conformity and scalability is, I think we're on course with that. These, the average size of the Fairholme Addition lots are .4 acres. I know, I admit they're grandfathered in, but their systems are standard septics, and so if there is a failure, they have no choice but to go to the alternative septic system. So, in view of that and the small square footage of these lots, the size of these lots are twice as large. And the north and the south lots did pass. The middle lot is the one that did not pass because Coastal Plumbing dug with the backhoe to further verify that there was gravel there, or bedrock, what do you want to call it. So I'm of the opinion that I think the lots S and U, the 2 outside lots that did pass the percolation test, could qualify for a standard septic system. The middle lot, I think if it did go to an alternative system, there would be plenty of room to handle the effluent. There is maintenance, more maintenance involved, like you said. But the effluent, I mean, they've been described as it's drinkable. I wouldn't go as far as to do that, but it shows some degree of for clarification, the clarity of the effluent and everything. They go to quite a bit of work to make sure that this water is very clean and clear. If you did route to the other end, like you spoke, it would go down the concrete, the 15-inch concrete reinforced pipe, and it ends up in the same creek in the same place. I think we'd have better luck just keeping the septic fields over to the west and follow that natural drain course there. I don't know if there are any other questions I could answer.
Why 3 lots instead of 2?
Well, in the interest of scale and conformability and affordability, people would be more likely to afford an acre as opposed to an acre and a half, especially considering the size of the other lots in the Fair Home Edition. These are huge relative to the existing lots in the Fair Home Edition.
If it went to 2 lots, they wouldn't need the variances, would they?
No.
No.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. Just because those south of there are smaller lots, you know, that isn't a reason for us to be approving them as passing this with 3 lots. And if it was 2 lots and would work in both those lots, and there would only be a variance for the building, I think that's what that's where I would lead to, you know. I just don't want to get into a situation where it could be a problem down the road. And that's, you know, when you came to us 5 years ago, you know, this was going to be a single, we approved that, and that's just,
Yeah.
you know, it worked with that, and it'll work with 2, but I just don't see how it can work with 3. That's my opinion.
Our intentions there got thwarted to some, just affordability is what we were.
I understand.
Ran up against. New construction, affordability is it's pretty tough, yeah.
The effluent coming out of a system like that would go where?
Down the ditch,
Well,
Which
as-
is
if you-
where?
If you,
in the front.
if you click on the
West.
utility map, there is a pipe that's running along the easterly side of this roadway.
The blue line? Oh, this
Oh,
one?
that one.
Okay.
And it can be hooked into that, and it takes it down to this.
But then it just goes out across somebody else's property.
Correct.
That, or would you hook up to a field tile?
Well, that,
Not anymore.
not anymore, no.
There's, no.
It's,
I mean, it just seems a little strange that even if it's cleaned and clear looking, that you would allow the waste from 3 private pieces of property to drain across somebody else's property. It's just-
Especially that we are a time of transfer state, and that we monitor all those septic systems. Yeah.
well, that's what every wastewater treatment plant does.
Sure, but
I mean, the idea is that.
But that's
that
monitored and
those
regulated.
alternative systems bring it up to basically standard secondary. They may or may not be capable of removing phosphates and nitrates, but those are not a big issue with a single-family dwelling. My problem still remains is that, you know, just because we got 3 or 4 feet of good soil, it might be, that's not over, you know, a wet time and a family with 4 kids and all of that, you know, that's, when you size the system, that percolation, even if you build a conventional system, it's going down. And when you have soils that shallow, you will never know when the system fails, because it'll migrate into the bedrock below. And that's exactly the whole, I don't know if you've heard of the karst topography problems, that's exactly what's happening with those. I just don't feel that this lot ought to be developed until sewer is available. And that's where I stand on it. Enough of my comments.
If it were 2 lots, would it then be compliant for a traditional septic system?
Based on the results that they have now, it'd be the top one and the lower one that passed. Yeah.
And then if the lots were bigger, would the accessory building have an issue?
No,
No,
I wouldn't
if
get any
it's-
variances.
if each lot was over 1 acre, then they can have that bigger variance review.
Originally, I was in the same camp as John, because I went through that up in Murphy Edition, and they're going through it in Hines Edition now. And it's something that there's no need to do it if we don't have to approve
I
something.
mean, the rest of the people in Fairholme, sooner or later, are gonna get to a reckoning, just like those two subdivisions did. And, yeah.
Well, not only that, but even out in East Waverly.
Any further questions for Mr. Schilling or discussion? If not, would someone care to make a motion?
Well, just so we have something to act on, I would move that the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend approval of the plat of survey creating parcels S, T, and U, 1400 Bremer Road, Waverly, Iowa, to City Council.
Okay, you've made a motion to approve as it stands, which would be granting both of the variances, so to
Right.
speak. Okay.
And that's how the motions are written on the agenda. So I think it's best to always do the motion to approve, and then if you don't want it, then you can vote no.
Right,
Um,
I understand.
But yeah, since that's how it's written there,
Okay.
it's.
Is there a second to that motion?
I will second that.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded that it be approved. Is there any further discussion on that motion? I would ask for a roll call vote, Mitch.
Pete Fuller,
No.
Stephanie Garner,
No.
Dave Huser,
No.
Kate Payne,
No.
Kathy Olson,
No?
John Meyer.
No. So this will be forwarded on to the council with with an adverse recommendation from
So
planning and zoning.
So I will talk to him after, I'll be in touch with you tomorrow or so to see if he wants to bring it to council with that recommendation.
So if he chooses to proceed to council, it would take a 6 vote, basically, 3/4. Yeah, okay. Okay. Moving on to item E3, adopt the updated Waverly Zoning Map. Paige, you want to introduce it a bit?
Yeah, this is just the map that has been changed with the approvals that have been, or the properties that have been rezoned since the last map was updated November of 2024. We have really just those 2 rezonings that took place. The one on GLSW was on the east side of town, there kind of right, Wells Hollow. And then the other one was all those flood buyouts that we finished the rezoning from residential to the U1. And so the new map should reflect all those rezonings.
I move that the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend approval of the updated Waverly zoning map to City Council.
So there's a second. Any other discussion on the motion? If not, would all those in favor say aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign, okay. And item E4, regular business, plat of survey separating parcel TT from 914 4th Street Southwest. Paige?
Yeah, so this one is parceling off that back building. If you look at the aerial map, the building that sits to the east of like the Napa building, proposing to parcel that off to be used as a separate business. It does have its own sanitary sewer connection, a dedicated electric meter. The water service is shared with the Napa building. The agenda memo says that we still were going to be requesting the agreement. We did get that finalized today. Bo Buchholz sent over the final one just this afternoon, and Justin Devon's reviewed it and finds it acceptable. So if this moves forward, then we'll take that to council. council.
Okay.
Would give
So
your-
each would have their own meter, but it's a shared water service line.
Correct, yep.
Okay.
So the water meter will have to get installed also prior to going to council.
We don't allow that in duplexes. We're going to have an issue that a duplex owner comes in and wants to convert it to separate ownership on a duplex, and we haven't allowed that, I don't think, for a shared.
We did, there's a couple of them last year, that we did the common wall agreements.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, but
They each had their own water meter, and then they had within that agreement how they would be maintained, who had ownership, and how the costs were split.
Yeah, I think the one up by the hospital was that way.
Yep. Hospital, and then Second Avenue Northeast.
yeah,
I think
northeast.
Yep.
but years ago, we didn't allow that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep, and now the utility code does say that, section 74 point something, I just looked at it today, that if it is shared, then we just have to have that agreement in place and things, so. That must have been a change to the code to allow that.
Any other comments or questions? Are you the applicant here?
Hey,
Do you have any comments you would like to make to the commission? Okay.
I mean, unless you have questions.
Okay.
I mean, if you have a question, I'm glad to answer.
My only comment is I'm glad to see something going into that building that'll do something.
I will say that I plan to make the building more appealing.
Okay. Will you be taking bottles and cans?
I will not. I will not. I have a little bowling alley, so I'll have now, it's really good because I'll have access back there now to the back of my building, which I didn't have before. And my plan is to run my internet. I have an internet business currently in Waterloo that I've had 4 separate break-ins into my buildings in downtown Waterloo, and I need to relocate to a different location, and that is what I'm planning on.
Yeah, I should have asked you to come up and identify yourself. I'm
I was
sorry.
wondering.
I'm sorry.
All right, I'm Zach DeShorner.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So is, any more discussion, or would someone like to make a motion?
I'll move that the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend approval of the Plat survey separating parcel TT from 919 4th Street Southwest, contingent, and it no longer has to say contingent upon staff approval of the water service agreement, because that's already been received.
That's been received, yep.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. I assume that service agreement gets recorded then?
It will. He actually, Bo built it into the deed, so it creates the easement agreement for that utilities, it creates the other
Okay,
easement.
so it'll be
and it has
recorded
the
with the
maintain-
deeds.
So it'll go with the deed, and then it'll be an ongoing deed restriction on it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. I believe on this one, we, again, can do a voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Paige, do you have any staff updates?
I do not.
How about Katie? Does she have any? No? Okay. Commission updates? I guess the only comment I wanted to, I think everybody got the thing about the closed meeting education. Did you all get something about that way back when? Okay, I didn't know if.
You mean the
mean the
training
education
session?
The
for
open
this?
meetings?
Continuing
sunshine-
education for closed, open
sunshine
closed
law?
meetings.
thing?
Oh, yeah, the open, yes.
Yeah, it's by Everbright or whatever,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, everybody is welcome to do it. If you are appointed on or after July 1, you're required to.
Yeah,
I listened to it the other night. It was long.
it was.
Well, it was long, and it, it was a long PowerPoint with lots of information that honestly, I think would be better read,
Yeah,
but there was an opportunity to ask questions, so.
I registered for it too, for the meeting on the 19th, so I'll spend my early afternoon doing that.
Get comfortable,
Yeah, okay. Any other commission members have something along the way? Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that one.
So moved. And second, I think we're adjourned.
How's the meeting?